Thank you very much for standing. Hey, I'm back. Hi, I'm Splendid Splendorio, and I'm a repeat offender of this club. So I don't know if it's Kathy or Clark Streeter is on Zoom. Can you unmute yourself and tell me which one of you is there? If it's both, I'd like to ask Kathy to recite the pledge. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Okay. I'm going to ask our guests, Marianne, where are you? Could you please lead us in the pledge? Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Marianne. Let's move on to, what do we got, fellas?
Oh, well, we've got our city manager here. This is all about our city, which is actually in our land, right? So this land is your land and my land and Sheila's land.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes. We have real singers. Perfect.
Should I start? Yeah.
As I was walking the ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of Earth, Diamond Desert, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Thank you.
Yes, Trish, just 1 second. Can I make a comment? But you know what? That sounded really good. No, I mean, really, no. I mean, you five, you guys sounded, don't you think? They sounded really good. All right, Trish, yes, ma'am. Would you like to have a microphone?
I can't ever let the song go by without reminding everybody that when Woody Guthrie wrote it, he also included the verses about, as I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said no trespassing. On the other side, it didn't say nothing. This side was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me?
Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Trish.
Wow.
All right, Roland.
All right, thank you. My mic is live. So I said, what's the funniest one-liners of all time? So I Googled this. I spent hours looking. I got to tell you, the top 5, I don't think are very funny, but I'm going to read them anyway. Okay, so number 5, funniest one-liners. Why can't you trust an atom? Because they make up literally everything. All right, there you go. Number 4, what do you get when you cross a polar bear with a seal? You ready? You get only a polar bear. Okay, number 3. My IQ test results came back. This is my IQ test. They were negative. All right. All right, number 2. What did the one DNA say to the other DNA? Here we go. Do these genes make me look fat? Yes, they do. All right, last one. The number 1 in America today. Did you hear they arrested the devil? Yeah, they got him on possession. There you go.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you very much. That was great. All right, let's acknowledge the people that really make this meeting go. And that's Spur reporter this week is Pat Coyle, our Spur publisher, somewhat related to Pat, Kathy Coyle. Our meeting photographer, Irv, always doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much. AV, Joel, thank you very much. Our Zoom host and chat monitor, Pat Coyle. Thank you, Pat. And our greeter, Kathleen Tabbitt, where are you? You were greeter, I know. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you. Okay, next items. Introduction. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Other than you, no.
We have none.
Dave, would you like your penance now, or would you like to wait? Should we wait? Okay. I'm not going to do that, but Dave, I think needs. Okay, do we? How about Pat Coyle? Is there anyone in Zoom land that is Rotarians visiting?
We see no visiting Rotarians on Zoom, President's plan.
Okay, that was no. Okay. All right. Do we have any visitors? A microphone, please.
Some of you might recognize this young lady, Jackie Polson, my wife.
Hi, Jackie. Get a picture. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Jackie. Okay. So I was gone for a couple of weeks, and I think some of you want an explanation. I don't think you deserve an explanation, but I will tell you where I was. I was planned to be here on the 31st, but we had a family wedding in New Orleans. My nephew got married, and my wife said, we really should go to New Orleans a little early. And I said, absolutely. That's a really good idea. So we had a lot of good meals there, and my nephew got married on a rainy day. We were supposed to have a parade from the church to the hotel. And of course, that was the only day it really rained. So if you know New Orleans, you know that they do have a little bit of I can't remember what's it called. It's like the thing after the ceremony. I want to say the second evening, but that's not it. So that's really the parade that you see on TV with the white and black umbrellas, right? So they did it from the lobby up the escalator into the banquet hall. That was really cool. And from there, I attended, my law firm belongs to this international law firm alliance called RcoL International, which is based in London. And we were supposed to have, our annual conference is once a year. And it's, that's why I've been able to travel the last several years to several wonderful places like Hong Kong or Santiago, Chile, Bangalore. And it was in 2020 in April, it was supposed to be in London. And we finally had it in London last week. And I wasn't about to miss that because I'm actually the Northern California delegate for that network. And as some of you may have seen, the Queen died on Thursday. And I can, if you're interested, I'm not gonna give you a travel log, but I'll just give you be honest, I'm sorry she passed away, but it was a very cool vibe in the city. And it changed from when we got there to Thursday. For us, it was about 6:30. And I'll just tell you, we And don't blame me. I mean, these conferences are actually, shocker, the lawyers have the money. So our conferences are pretty extravagant and stuff we do. And I know, Mike, you'll know where the Guild Hall is, right? Right. So we had dinner in the Guild Hall. Our speaker was Earl Spencer, which is Princess Diana's brother. And so we were in a bus and all our phones blew up and that she had passed away. It was about 6:15, 6:30, something like that. And we all looked out on both sides. And you know, London, like every big city, turns out I walked back quicker than it took the bus to get there. But because, you know, you have all the one-way streets, it took you a long time to get there. So you look out on the side and you looked in the pubs, all the TVs were on and nobody was talking or drinking. They were all looking at the TV. It was a big shock, right? I mean, I'm Gordon, Mike, right? And I came to realize, I mean, look, and I'm an American, most of us, all of us are Americans, but for the most part, and I'm like, come on, Queen, why do you need a royalty? What's that do for you? And I came to realize it's everybody's grandmother. Your grandma died. And it's been your grandmother for, as far as you know, for your whole life and for everybody else's life. And kind of came to realize that was such a big deal there. You know, I mean, yeah, there was, now on the other hand, people really came out. I mean, it's from Friday to Saturday. It was just, London was full. It was pretty decent days. It was just beautiful. I missed you, Brian. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it was really, I mean, like I said, I was glad I was there. I was really glad I was there to experience it, because I don't know if I would experience something like that ever again. Just somebody's who had been, I mean, I don't know how many million people are in the Commonwealth, but their grandma died, and kind of a big deal. Anyway, let's turn to Dave. After having said all that, what would you like to do as compensance and penance for that outburst?
For what? Yeah, right.
And I'm going to help you, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm going to help you, Dave. There's a sheet on your tables that has Area 4 fundraiser. For those who know, we belong to Area 4 of District 5170. And this is on October 27th at Page Mill. If you know that Page Mill on Thursdays usually has a fundraiser for various charities, they're going to benefit our District Governor Savita's Girl Empowerment, which something I strongly believe in. And I'm going to ask Davis as penance to be our lead and our charge to make sure all of us go there, buy a little wine, and donate toward her program. Does that sound fair, Dave?
Sure. You guys going to go? All right.
Excellent.
Good. All right. We got it covered.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. All right, let's move on. Okay, Trek. We're going to have a great new member talk. Trex Donovan. Yeah. Made his way up here.
Hi, not used to speaking to all of you at the same time. So let's see, I moved to Livermore in '84 as a 20-year-old, and I've been here ever since. Lived in Oklahoma for a little while for air traffic control training. I don't know, Livermore has been home ever since I left, and came from Marianne. I go back over and visit my mom, and it's not the same. Just Livermore grows on you, and it grew on me from the time I got here. Let's see. I'm the owner of Buena Vista Tree Service. I'm a certified arborist and a risk assessment arborist. Been in business since 2001, been an arborist since 2003. And that's enough on the business. I wasn't necessarily up here to promote that. I'm active with the BSA. I was a Scout Master for Troop 939 for a number of years. I'm a merit badge counselor and an assistant Scout Master. I know a number of the Rotarians through either work or Scout related stuff. Let's see. I'm also an Eagle Scout. I don't know. I've had service in my family. I mean, my mom my mom's a deacon in her church, and she donated blood when she was younger. I donate platelets every other week. I'm at like 36, 37 gallons. My goal is like 55, so I've still got a ways to go. And part of the reason why I started donating platelets was because my late wife, who died about 6.5 years ago, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And at that point I started donating, and I've just kind of stuck with it. And now the lady that I'm with now, who's a teacher at East Avenue, she and I go for our date nights twice a month to go donate platelets. Well, I mean, we get to watch a movie. She gets her bed to watch a movie, and I get my bed to watch a movie. And we kind of, oh, hi, how you? Well, I can't move because I'm like this, but it's, I don't know, it's another way of giving back. Rotary is kind of the same way. And since I'm kind of stepping back out of Scouts a little bit, I'm still have canoes at my house and a trailer at my house, and I go to meetings and help the kids with merit badges. It's just another way of getting back. And I guess I've got Joel and Sam for kind of introducing me to Rotary. So thank you. Yeah. So just a little story behind my hat. So this is like my third or fourth one that I've wore out. My last one had like 5 or 6 different brands around it from different Scout locations that I went to. But since I'm out looking at trees every day, it's kind of my sun hat, my rain hat, my hard hat, my everything hat. Because like if I get branches hitting me, it kind of folds down. And I know it's not a regular cowboy hat, but it's my version. And my dad's from New Zealand, so the shorts kind of fit what I do, but I've got dual citizenship. I'm a New Zealand and US citizen. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Trex. Well, we learned a lot about Trex. Romance is not necessarily his strong suit. Paul, you gonna come up next? Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, we have a challenge. Paul McCandless.
Hey, everyone, you heard about this a little bit last week. I think that Bob Bishop talked about it, but I want to reinforce it and get everybody, on board. So out of Las Positas College, we have the Veterans Association is working diligently to support veterans and get them integrated into society. And more importantly, they're trying to prevent veteran suicides. And the 2.2 for 22 challenge comes from the unfortunate fact that the Department of Veteran Affairs calculates that about 22 veterans commit suicide in the United States every day. So our club is sponsoring the this challenge they have that's just starting in October to the $1,500 level. And I'd like to encourage every one of you as individuals to sign up for the challenge and show your support as an individual. You can go online and sign up online on your amongst all the piles of paper you have on your table there. There's a sheet that has where you can go to the website. Bob has also set up a team, the BFF Heroes, that you can sign up for once you sign up for the challenge itself. And then you have various teams that are competing against each other. And then my understanding is that he's going to have some group activities along with that. I've already signed up. I'm already signed up for Bob's team, and I encourage you all to do the same. If you have any questions or would like to know more information, please see Bob or myself after the meeting. Yes. Oh, $20? $22. Yes, $22. Oh, it's on there. Okay. Okay.
Thanks very much, Paul. Okay, I'm going to give you, this has got pushed on me. We've been pushing this. We only have 2 people signed up for this. It's Saturday between 1:30 and 3:30. It's $20, which the club will cover if you so choose. But it's a very simple act, and this is our Area 4 day of service. if you have time, I put paper on each of the tables. If you're so inclined, please sign up for it. Like I said, we only have, go ahead. Yes.
So my wife and I did this last year, and the time goes really fast. It's a lot of fun, and you'll meet a lot of other Rotarians because it's a district thing. So it's something not to be missed. Give it a try. As many as you can pack. Yes, they do. So there are several lines of people packing boxes for meals for people in flood areas or disaster areas or whatever. So Loretta?
Okay, fellow Rotarians. I know this might seem scary to some of you. There's a URL code. If any of you have been like hesitant to join up because you don't know how to use this thing, I am here. I will walk you through it. It's not hard. So just grab me. I will help you do this, okay? Come on. With only 2 people there.
But Loretta, I heard if you use a QR code, your brain will be seized by aliens.
It's not true. It's not true.
Okay, well, I'm telling you what I've heard.
Okay, come on. Let's have more people there than Dublin.
Come on, please sign up. Let's make it a little bit of an effort. I mean, it's only an hour and a half, and they're looking for 80 people. They only have like about 30 right now, and we only have 2. All right, thank you. Next week's gonna be Club Assembly, but I have a couple of more announcements. First, we want to hand out some. Gal, do you want to start making your way up here? And I'll call up. Go ahead. Come. Let's see who's here. Alan, you're here. Alan, would you mind coming up? Irv, if you could come up. Dawn, if you could come up here. Let's come up anyway. Just around.
All right. Oh, Mike. All right. What we have here is the Pal Harris Society members, and these certificates are given when you contribute 1,000 or more in a year. So the people here are each. Hold one up. I'll hold one up.
Just read the names, you can hand them out later.
All right. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm going to read the names and distribute these because they're not well organized. So I'll come and give it to you. The people are Keith Beck, Alan Burnham, Thomas Gilmartin, Irving Stewart, Don Wentz, Patrick McManaman, and myself.
All right, thank you. Yes. All right, we're gonna do. You want to induct Walt, please? Come on up.
So this is a last moment thing because of your travel and my other things. This is the first time we're together. Anyway, so this Walt, this is your.
It looks like me.
Yeah, your red badge, which you can wear proudly.
All right.
As well as a pin, a hat, and a vest, which are appropriate for all
volunteering.
For all volunteering events. And in fact, one of the things that was talked at the district event I went to is that even when you're not at a Rotary event, you may want to think about having something that identifies you as a Rotarian. And if somebody asks you, you can say, by the way, you too can join.
You know what, Walt, I really appreciate one thing. Walt, you have learned. I would like this to make the last meeting of every month Aloha Rotary, and you started us off wonderfully. Thank you very much, Walt. Good idea. Okay. You're gonna do the hula? I thought only Mike Thompson wore skirts. Okay. Okay. We have a wonderful program today. I'm going to tell you, yes. Yes. Yes, it's on Monday.
So if you would announce it?
So Monday, I believe, well, I think we have announced it a few times. It's 11:30, my recollection. I'm going off of memory, at Beebs at Las Positas Golf Course. I have it on my calendar, so let me go. Yeah, I shouldn't tell you how to turn here. It's the 19th. It's Monday. And it's at 11:30, Beebs Sports Bar. And we are going to have a program in October that will just talk about Al's life and his career. Okay. So if all of you can make it, thank you very much. Thanks, Paul, for mentioning that. All right, let's talk about.
Okay.
Yes.
Very quick. I just want to give an update on the fundraising for Save a Girl Kit. And we were targeting $3,000. And so far we have raised $2,500. And Robert Freeman will be going to Tanzania on October 1 to start this project. And so you still have a chance for next few days. If you can make donation, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gowin. All right. Well, I'm going to take this little opportunity here. Does anybody want to help me raise any money? God, no takers. But I wasn't here, Joel. Okay. Well, let me do this. Sheila, did she do a wonderful job? So I really need to express my appreciation for Sheila for filling in while I had fun. And I think what I'll do is, how about if I donate a couple $100 to the club?
There you go.
Okay, I do that. Norm, does that make your week? Norm.
I'll match Splend.
All right. Thank you, Trish.
Oh, wow. She's matching them. That's $400.
Okay. Somebody.
No, I'm not wearing what he's wearing.
Okay. Anybody else? All right.
Project.
Thank you.
Can I do that? The girl.
Thank you very much, Marianne.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Okay. This is just a pleasure to introduce Marianne. I mean, we all know, we've known Mark Roberts for many years, and Mark retired. The city had to go out and hire a new city manager. And I'm not going to tell you a lot about Marianne. I hope she'll tell a little bit about herself, but she came to us from the city of Irvine, right? And after an extensive search, and by all accounts, the city council was very impressed by Marianne, and of course, made her a city manager. But one thing I think is very important to understand. I mean, some of us go talk to, if we want something done, or we complain about the city, we go talk to the city council member or the mayor, and, maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't. But what you have to realize, where the true power is? So basically, when you talk to the city council, you're talking to the board of directors of the company. She's a CEO. So she can tell people what to do. Is that enough of an introduction?
Oh my gosh, no pressure whatsoever. Well, if anyone needs anything done, you can talk to Councilmember Monroe, or you can talk to me, and she will refer you to me. It's such a pleasure to be here today. I really enjoy being out and talking to the community, and you represent the community. So I'm just so pleased to be here today, and thank you. Thank you again for inviting me. Oh, wait a minute. You actually invited the mayor, and he delegated to me, which happens often, but it's okay. I'm happy to be here. And the city council sent not a subcommittee, but a monitor to monitor me, make sure I stay on track, that I don't say anything bad. You know, I'm looking at you. When I was walking in, is Mark Roberts here today? Okay. So Mark Roberts is not here today. The mayor, I think, is on his way to get an award, so we can talk about them. And as I was walking in, I was told Mark has always done such a good job, but no pressure. So I also was told that by next week, I should read this book. And I was told that if Mark was here, he would have written a book, but I can just read this one. But anyway, that's a long introduction. I do have a few slides, but before I go through the slides, and actually maybe just say, oh, let's go to the next one. I think the first one is meet and greet. You know, what's amazing to me about the community like Livermore, everyone knows one another, and I love that. I think there's something about communities like ours that make us strong, because we know one another, we get time to talk to one another, we get time to understand one another and to support one another. We all have our stories. And Trex, thank you for sharing yours. I'll share a little bit of mine because I really want to focus on the slides, and I have quite a few of them. And I'll try to go through them quickly because I would rather leave time to get your questions. But my story is I was born and raised in Central Asia. I was born in Kazakhstan, and I was raised in Kyrgyzstan until I was 19. Those countries, for those of you that don't know, are ethnically Asian, so very Chinese kind of type looking Asians. They're actually Turkish, but Asian and Muslim. So growing up, I was always a minority. And so really the whole idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that I not only lived by, but I was raised by. Was raised by two wonderful parents, still alive, thankfully, that taught me to treat everyone with kindness and respect and love and forgiveness. And you know, what's interesting, having lived in so many communities, and I'll talk about this a little bit, those are the values that I find in Livermore. And that's why Livermore immediately became home. I moved here with my two children. They're 13, twins, a boy and a girl. They go to Christensen school. And it just feels like home, and I know why. And I see this on a daily basis, the way we treat one another. And it's almost unheard of in the rest of the country, the rest of the world. So grew up in Central Asia, know quite a lot about not having the money or the basics such as water and electricity and food and all of that. Professionally started my career in the city and county of San Francisco back in '97, you know, many years ago, that I moved on to the city of Oakland, two really challenging cities, but cities that at that time focused on affordable housing, homelessness, and economic development, something that we're still dealing with to this day. And then my career has taken me to many other cities in California, large and small, everything from Mammoth Lakes to Riverside and lately Irvine. And so I'm back home to kindness and love and compassion, but also back home to the East Bay. And I come to a city that is very, very busy. Busy in a good sense. We're a relatively small community of 91,000, 88,000, depending on who you ask, about 90,000. The signs say 91, you know, the census says 88. But there is a lot happening. We have the airport, which is not a lot of communities have. We have our own water services and sewer services, and I can go on and on and on. So what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about some of the key things that are happening in the city. But again, I'm probably going to cover maybe 25%. Let's go on. Downtown, just a few slides. Let's keep going. A lot is happening in downtown, and I am excited to be here in this community at a time where downtown is happening. I know a lot of you, and I look forward to reading this book, have gone through the evolution of downtown that was really at the planning stages. And already what's there right now is amazing. Downtown is busy every day of the week, but a lot more is going to happen. And let me just go through a few slides, kind of giving an update. Let's go on. The Livermore Plaza has opened, and that corner of downtown is beautiful. It's activated with families and children and people having their coffees. It's just remarkable. Go on. There are 2 parking garages. One has been built. The new I Street garage has been opened with some new technology. The L Street garage is going to start construction after the first of the year, and collectively they will add a lot more parking to the city. We're also installing electric vehicle charging stations in those garages to encourage electric vehicle consumption by our residents and visitors. Let's go on. A boutique hotel is coming. Unfortunately, won't break ground probably until a couple of years from now, but it has been approved and it is coming. 2024 is are the plans for to start construction of the hotel. The market may, dictate otherwise, but those are the estimated timelines set by the developer. But again, depending on how the market performs, hopefully sooner. The Legacy Partners project is developing very quickly. The first phase of the project that is actually mixed use, that is fronting First Street, is going to have housing on top and additional commercial on the bottom. And so that way we will connect the eastern side of First Street to the rest of First Street, where you have the Vine Theater and so on. So that portion is supposed to open by December of this year, and that additional sections will open as well. Oh, that's okay. Downtown Blacksmith Square expansion, there will be 3 additional buildings to complement what's currently there, 2 standalone buildings, as well as a building that is on the south that is actually going to be a 2-story building. Let's go on. And that's what the 2-story building is going to look like. Let's keep going. And of course, Spark and Quest are coming to downtown, which is really amazing. The combination of culture and science, how they're all going to, or culture and arts and science, how they're all going to interplay. Let's go. Eden Housing, so that project was approved by the council a few months ago. We closed escrow on the transfer of the property. And the developer is now waiting for litigation to be resolved, hopefully by the end of this calendar year, so they can start on their funding. Let's go on. Now, while a lot of focus has been on downtown, even among my own staff, the city is busy and there's a lot happening in the rest of the city. So again, I'll just highlight a few examples. We're actively working on the update of the city's general plan. And general plan is a massive planning document that really sets the development vision for the city and decides the right balance of development. Where should housing go? Where should commercial go? How do we prevent concentration of particular uses in particular areas? How do we really plan the city so that it continues to carry on the values that we have? Through the general plan update that is happening right now, as a matter of fact, the city council just received an update and had a really thoughtful dialogue on Monday. We went on until 11 p.m., I think, having that discussion. Through that update, we're focusing on 4 key areas of the city. The rest of the city will be looked at, but there are core areas, including the Isabel neighborhood, for example, that we're focusing on. Let's keep going. Climate action plan is another priority of the city that we are updating. The plan itself is being updated right now. And the next step after the council approves the updated plan, which will happen most likely in October, November, then there's going to be a month-long implementation where we will be going out to the community. You know, when you talk to someone about climate action, a lot of people don't realize that it really impacts them on a regular basis, and they can make a difference on a daily basis. So we'll be going out to the community. We'll be going out to the schools to educate people about water use and electricity use and buildings and things of that nature. So that's coming, and I'm sure we'll be coming to you with that information as well. Community engagement, let's keep going. I think I have a couple of slides there. You know, when I think about engagement, for me as the CEO of the company, so to speak, it's important to keep three groups actively engaged all the times: residents, businesses, and employees. Let me see if I have another slide with some details. So some of the enhancements that we're working on to engage the community. And again, the idea is not only to push the information out, but to actively engage. And Councilmember Monroe, who's here, has been really one of the most vocal leaders on the council talking about community engagement, but also doing community engagement, going to farmers markets and events and so on. But we're working on a few enhancements. There have been additional social media postings with videos about what's happening in the city. We will also work on Government 101 videos, which basically will have very brief videos of every single city department, and then we'll have key issues, budget, and so on, posted on the website so that the community can get educated about what the city does. We're going to focus on youth and government, and I'll talk a little bit about this now, but then further as well. You know, when we think about youth, whether it's elementary school, a middle school, a high school, a college, there are two opportunities for us. One is to educate them about what the government does and engage them so that they could speak their own voice. But secondly, recruit them for positions in government and recruit them early so they know that they can become a planner, they can become a police officer, they can become a water technician, and so on. So the opportunities there are huge, and we're actively working with LARPD and the school district on those opportunities. We're also engaging with the community at the libraries, and there will be additional opportunities where we will be educating families and children about climate action and sidewalks and additional issues. And business outreach. I'm trying to elevate business outreach to really understand how our businesses are doing and how we can help them and engage them in a discussion. Another thing that we're trying to do is educate local businesses about opportunities to participate with the city with contracting, you know, because we give out contracts all the time, whether it's paper or services. So we want to make sure that local businesses have an opportunity to participate. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. A couple of strategic planning. So we're going to enhance the kind of the exercise of strategic planning with the new council in 2023. And what we're going to do is show to the council and the community everything that the city does. And it's going to be interesting because every department is now going through their goals for the next 5 years. And there's a lot happening. I mean, again, I mentioned the airport. I mentioned the water reclamation plant. We have our community development department that works on a number of projects. So we're going to put all of that in front of the city council and then say, of 200 things that we're working on, these 10 are going to be a priority, but the rest of the work won't stop. And I think it's going to be a really interesting dialogue to show to the council and the community all the work that's been done by your city staff. So let's keep going. Staff development is very important to me. Let's keep going because they deliver your services. And I will tell you where we're having issue right now is 3 areas, maybe 4. One is recruiting people. We just can't find people. We can't find people. I know a lot of you that have businesses, or those of you that have family members that own businesses, it's a challenge. You just can't, there are no people available. No one applies. Second, retaining them. Once they come here, we don't want for them to get their skills and then leave. So we need to keep them not only employed, but also engaged. And lastly, working on succession planning, because a lot of our employees are retiring. I'll give you an interesting statistics. We have about 440 employees, 47 vacancies. More than 10% of our employee population is vacant. And it's basically, yesterday I was talking to the team about sidewalks, and I said, can I assign someone to lead this project? Because it's been kind of in limbo for 4 years. And they said, we're down in staffing in engineering by 50%. There's no one to assign to. And it's not because we're not actively recruiting, they're just, so we're working on additional ways to recruit. But again, youth and government, it's long-term investment, but I'm going to start working on it now. Employee training and development, to the extent we can promote from within, which we've done really well. We need to continue doing that. And again, engagement, just engaging employees on a regular basis, wanting to make sure that we understand their needs and so on. Let's see. That's it. Like I said, it was a little bit lengthy. I wanted to cover a lot of things in here, but really just scratching the surface with this presentation. With that, I don't know if there's any time for questions. If not, okay.
Flynn?
Okay, let's turn to questions.
Flynn, I have a question.
Yeah, we're gonna go into the room first.
Okay.
We'll go Zoom second. Niall.
How do we access the videos that you talked about?
They will be posted on the website. They haven't been produced yet. We plan to produce them by the end of this month. So hopefully by early October, we'll post them online. We'll send information out through social media and e-newsletters. And I'm happy to just provide information directly to the club as well.
I live in the Springtown area, probably not far from where you do. And the area that I live in, other than my house, is pretty much a tree desert. And we are hotter than the rest of Livermore out in the Springtown area because of that. So is there something that the city can do to encourage people to plant trees or plant them along the sidewalks or something like that? What would the city be able to do?
Very good question. And I'll give you a response that has ideas, but I'm also going to take it to staff. Before I get to the trees, coming to the city, it was very clear to me that Springtown needs attention. The open space there needs attention. The library needs attention. I think overall, that particular neighborhood needs additional amenities. I mean, something like a community center where a family can walk in and get books, but also get healthcare and get a mental health advice or financial advice, whatever. That's down the road. That's dreaming big. What I told my staff, and I went to Springtown several times personally and just walk the streets and walk the open space. I told them to really give me kind of a short-term and a long-term solution. Short-term, you might have noticed we're focusing on the small, teeny tiny library branch that's there, but we're going to replant the vegetation that's in front of the library, improve the sign, and then maybe even create a community garden in the back of the library. And then next, focus on connecting trails in the open space, because I tried to run there one day and I couldn't. But as far as the trees, there are a couple of things that we can do. One is we will look at what the city's plans are for planting city trees, which we need to be very mindful of because they damage our sidewalks. But private trees, I've developed programs in other cities. Oakland was one of them, where we would either organize community events, and a community service day is coming, and sometimes would work with local nurseries to provide trees to communities to plant. So there are some ideas that I have, and I'll talk to my staff about it. Thank you. I like those ideas. Those are the ideas that I need to hear about.
What is the city doing about homelessness?
As you know, it's a complex issue, right? And I'll give you an example. By In-N-Out, there's a couple that lives by In-N-Out. So
there are several thoughts, several responses to that question. It's a multi-layered question. You know, if I were your typical bureaucrat, so to speak, I would just say, it's not my issue. Social services, it's county issue. But that's not who we are here in Livermore. And I've dealt with homelessness in cities like Oakland and Riverside, where it was right in your face all the time. It is an issue that requires collaboration of multiple players, not only governments, city, county, but also churches, community service organizations, and so on. What we're doing is we're facilitating a lot of the efforts to build additional infrastructure, whether it's supportive housing or affordable housing, or just getting people to shelters. For example, with the heat that we just had, we had several families out there that were unsheltered that we found places for. We also had families, and that's where I mentioned in and out, that refuse help all the time. And it takes sometimes years to establish a connection with that person because they just don't trust you. So the last part, population that does not accept care, is the most challenging to deal with, but we still have to deal with the first part, and that is building, you know, supportive housing with services around it. We as a city don't have the dollars for it, but working with the county and the state is where we can step in. We also can facilitate production of those housing options or pre-housing options through our plans, such as the general plan and some other policies. So it's a long answer to your question, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what we can do.
So I appreciate your phrase, dreaming big, for reasons which hopefully are obvious to people here. The question has to do with the climate action plan. And I have interacted with a group called Climate Restoration, and one of their objectives is to get low CO2 concrete in the building codes of the various cities. And this may be more detailed than you've gotten into, but CMEX, for example, does have one that has substantially less CO2 emissions. And I am told it doesn't really cost very much more to do. And so I guess that's really the question in my mind is what kind of regulations do you see coming on board to help reduce CO2 emissions in our both our city and personal infrastructure?
You know, I don't know if I'm prepared to give you that answer right now. I frankly haven't spent enough time on the climate action plan. I do know that we're going to take the updated climate action plan to the council. And I frankly just got a copy of it yesterday. It's still very rough. So I need to look into that. We are taking some policies, I think it's next council meeting, on electric vehicle charging stations, electrification of the buildings. So there are some things that we will be doing, but there's a lot more. I mean, just on vehicles themselves, the new state mandate to focus on electric vehicles, you know, in the next few years is going to mean that we as a city both need to focus on our own fleet, but also make sure that there are electric vehicle charging stations throughout the city. So there are a number of things that we will be doing. I think it's all going to come together through the climate action plan. So watch for it. And then maybe we can engage in a more thoughtful dialogue on specifics, if that makes sense. So,
Hey, just a quick comment. I work with homeless every day. I'm enormously impressed by the city of Livermore. That's just saying, if you guys want to know all the different things that are happening, and it's from your organization all the way through to the police to the social services you got cooking. And so, I mean, I know a lot about Pleasanton, Dublin, but Livermore is hitting a home run. So really thankful to be a part.
We are doing a lot.
Efforts.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. We are doing a lot.
Oh, Marianne. Which one? Doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was wondering if the city can do anything about the underperforming malls and so on. I think particularly the one at Rincon and also the old Nob Hill thing. Can those be rezoned and turned into affordable housing?
Yeah.
All sorts of options.
Yeah, you know, again, a lot of my answers are going to have several parts to them because they're not easy questions. They seem easy on the surface, but they're not. Yes, there are tools that the city has, rezoning and so on. And sometimes they could be proactive and sometimes they could be reactive to the request, right? Proactive rezoning is difficult because you disrupt the businesses that are currently there. Reactive to a developer or property owner that may come in and say, I want to do something different here. And it's happening with the Nob Hill Shopping Center, for example, next to the City Hall, where we're looking at the application to redevelop that shopping center. And the application includes housing, but guess what? Now the businesses are concerned. What does it mean to us? And so it's, it's a careful balance, but there's a larger issue. And the issue is something that I'm talking to our economic development director about. And that is some cities take the kind of the back seat when it comes to economic development and say the market will determine. And then when the applications come to us, then we'll react. Some cities, and usually it happens in larger cities, go and proactively look for grocery shops and developers and stores and so on. We haven't been in that proactive position because frankly, we don't have staff. We have a department of 3 that deals with both economic development and innovation, but it's something that we're discussing. Is there an opportunity to be a little more proactive and really at least educate the community out there with money about Livermore and then select from those that come to us?
Marianne, I hope you will forgive me a personal question. You fascinate us. When did you come to the States and how did you happen to come here?
Sure. I came here in '96 and I came here to spend a year at San Francisco State University, which I did. And while I was finishing the year, I had just amazing advisors who said, if you finish another year, then you'll get your degree here, because I already had 2 years. Well, they didn't tell me that it costs money to go to school. So when I signed up for it, it was very expensive. But they also were sending me to different projects, mostly in the city of San Francisco. So I got exposed to issues of homelessness and drug use and childcare and all of that. So it was really fascinating. And then same professors pushed me to go to Berkeley to get my master's degree. And again, extremely expensive because I wasn't yet a resident of California, technically. But again, because I had to work and study at the same time, I got exposed to all kinds of local government issues. And so here I am. Yeah. Stop. Yeah.
I want to go to Hank. Whoever's on Zoom has a question.
Oh, Marianne?
Yes.
You mentioned the number of vacancies in the present present city government. If you look back 5 or 10 years, has there been a trend? More vacancies, more fractional vacancies, or less? And if so, is it steep? And if so, why?
Yeah, good question. I personally haven't looked back at the history. I would imagine if I do, there is probably, ups and downs. And typically when people retire, when there's a next wave of retirements, because there's a new benefit or whatever, we start having vacancies. This time around, however, talking to my own staff, as well as talking to colleagues in other cities, this time around is different. And COVID really just changed the world. The way the world changed, there's a lot of people that used to be here and available to work are now in different states, a lot of them in different professions. So I think COVID just disrupted the marketplace, and we're all looking for different ways to recruit. I was talking to my staff yesterday about job fairs, but also recruiting non-traditional candidates that I think we could benefit from, right? As opposed to recruiting for people that have government experience. Well, maybe there are people without government experience that we could teach quickly that would be a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Final question, Mike Thompson.
Thank you. Mariana, some years ago, at least 20 years ago, there was a new development proposed North Livermore, which had a lot of really good features, many of us thought. It got turned down. It had a central kind of hub and then little villages around. It included a new lane on the freeway to go to BART. It had a lane coming off Highway 4, for example, to take the congestion off that. And that's lousy soil up there. So my suggestion is, I would hope the city and the general planning area would bring that out and see what you could maybe take from that for that area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's give Marianne a huge hand for being here. And I think I speak for all of us that we're happy to have you. We're proud of you. And I just, you're an example of a great American story. You came here, you've been greatly successful in a very difficult environment, especially for a woman to succeed. I suspect of the thousands of city managers in the state of California, you probably know a good many of them. But I think we all owe you a debt of gratitude for all your success, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to insist that when we have this girl empowerment fundraiser, that you show up at Page Mill and try to make it for us and give an example. Thank you. Okay. Anything else for the good of the group? Thank you very much for showing up, and I'm glad to be back. And I forgot. Was this the best damn 90 minutes of your week?